Joining me in studio right now from Mothong African Heritage, founder member, executive director, and overseer, traditional doctor, Mr. Ephraim Mabena. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir. I'm okay, thank you, and you?
I'm good, no complaints.
Thanks.
The biggest thing is actually to say congratulations.
Thank you.
On your award.
Thank you.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
I can't express my feeling. I'm overjoyed. I'm over the moon, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
More than happy itself.
Now, the biggest question right now is that, briefly, please explain to us.
Yes.
What field or what do you do? What is your, career path?
Currently, I'm a traditional healer and a former guru sport. I've been doing karate, I've been doing quite a number of things. So be very cautious, careful when you speak to me. And I'm a sport fanatic.
Yeah.
I did karate, kickboxing, and I did also fencing sports. And I produced one, for the first time I produced in my career in fencing. I was doing epee, and I produced the first black fencer who went to Beijing. During my who was actually is an international coach, and But my final destination currently, I'm a traditional healer and an environmentalist.
So how irrelevant is what you do in improving people's lives?
I'm a living example, and I want to encourage quite a number of people out there, learning from the experience, learning from what I did, encouraged by the community, encouraged by my parents. And you see, umuntu ngabantu. And my parents have played the most significant role in my life, the community I live in. And, by reading, quite a number of books, for an example, Martin Luther King will always say, stop being lazy. If you can walk, run. If you can't run, crawl. So stop giving excuses and say, listen, I can't do this and that and that. And this is what I'm doing, learning from other, gurus and so forth.
So why is it important to, incorporate indigenous knowledge systems and modern science?
It's very, very important to such an extent that, each one teach one strategy. It's a question of indigenous science was there. And I will talk from the perspective point of being a traditional healer. Indigenous knowledge it's a knowledge that is not imported from overseas and so forth. It's in our DNA. It's our way of life. And that's how being, quite a number of our people have been, visiting traditional healers. Mothong. When you go to this word Mothong, it emanates from the doctor, Motu. You never hear the person and say, Kia doctor, you will always say Kia Mothong and all that. So the way the people are doing things, it's in their DNA. How did people survive, chronic diseases where there were not actually doctors? So that shows that in our communities there were people who have played a significant role in challenging and managing the diseases. And those are our forefathers. And that knowledge is still there. Still people are going. But exactly now we want to live with the time. We want these two sciences, come together. And you learn from COVID-19. COVID-19 has caught us globally below the belt. And surely now, because we learn from countries like China, who actually use the herbal medicine and conventional medicine and so forth. So we definitely need to move fast to work together to combat these diseases. So these two sciences, I believe that they need each other. There is no science that is the jack of all trade. Definitely we should learn from other countries.
So out of curiosity,
yes,
what would you say is the problem in terms of, the Western side of the world accepting the traditional side of the world in terms of medicine?
Can you repeat that again?
Do you think, so if I may ask,
yes,
the Western side of the world,
yes,
medicine side,
yes,
and the traditional side,
yes,
what would you say is the problem? What is How do we bridge that gap in between in order for them to come together?
I should think we must learn from the history that, traditional healers were practicing under the Act of 1957, if I'm not mistaken. That is the Witchcraft Act. And to break that wall, and so that we each one teach one strategy is very, very, very important. Now then, I'm very much happy that, the Department of Health is now beginning to recognize, is beginning, to work with traditional healers. It's that of very, very significant, important that learning from other countries, of course, breaking that wall of apartheid laws of saying traditional healers are witchcraft practitioners, traditional healers, and they each one teach one. You learn from quite a number of plants. Recently, we talk about Artemisia mohlonyane that is used in Madagascar.
Yeah.
That plant during the apartheid time was called umuti. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, if you want to make it smart, you will say it's a herbal medicine.
Yeah.
But if they want to just talk rubbish about this plant, they would say they're umuti.
Yeah.
But it's good now because the country is now beginning to learn from other countries like China that herbal medicine are very significant, important. You learn from the plant called hudia, and the hudia which was stolen, from the Khoisan brothers and used by other countries and so forth. So breaking this wall, each one teach one, understanding, that will make, I'll make an example. Today you can't make a referral, a letter to being a traditional healer, send a patient to hospital, because that act that you are acting under, of which is a witchcraft act. So there is that, they won't accept it and say it's from Inyanga, it's from a witchcraft.
Yeah.
So each one teach one, understanding the modern science, understanding the way traditional healers are practicing. Accepting each other will actually shorten the expense of the patient. Remember, all of us were focusing on a patient. We want to betterify the patient's life. Those are the common interests, the Western medicine and the indigenous knowledge. The focus is one, to make the health of the community.
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one.
Powerful words.
You come to my surgery or you come to my indumba, I'll teach you how things work. How did I actually find out that this plant is poison? Learn from indigenous knowledge practitioner. How did you learn, people, that this plant is poisonous or is not poisonous without taking the plant to the lab? We've got our own, ways, our science of, learning from these plants, because our forefathers had enough time to study the plants, have enough time to study the biodiversity. We can talk about climate change. We can talk about, how to, the issue of, that is actually affecting the world today in terms of climate change and so forth, using simple indigenous knowledge systems.
Now, how does one get a hold of you? Do you have a website? LinkedIn, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not I'm not in good at that yet, but the people can Google Ephraim Mabena, or they can Google Mothong African, Heritage. That's where they actually can find.
So before I wrap it up, in that camera, your last message for the learners that are watching you right now.
I would definitely encourage the community, the students, or anyone who, in case in future, might become a traditional healer, show what you do it to the best. And prove it to those who are rubbishing, the gift. Prove them wrong, that unlike today, we are faced by these bogus traditional healers who actually, at the end of the day, they made that the whole traditional healing industry, it's all about witchcraft. But if you are a student, you study in the field that you are in, do it to the level best. That is why Martin Luther King will always say, if you can walk, crawl. If you can crawl, run. So do it to the level best. That's what I can say to the students.
And there you have it, Sir Ephraim Mabena, Mothong African Heritage, the winner at the NSTF 2020 Awards. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.